All right, my friends, you may have heard about the shift or the new earth if you look at the YouTube space very much. And so, what is going on with all of that? Is there going to be a shift? Is there going to be a new earth? Is it going to be like a real physical splitting of the earth? Let's take a look at YouTube here and see what we come up with, shall we? So the first one that comes up, why most people won't shift into the new earth. It's coming. The next one, if you haven't shifted to the new earth energy, watch this. And then the thumbnail is old earth and new earth. Interesting. There's a picture of Delores Cannon, which we'll talk about in a minute. Here's another one, embracing the shift into the fourth density new earth. All right. And then the one down below, it's shifting to a new earth. And ooh, not all will make it. The new earth is almost here. Will you be there? How to make sure. I better watch that one and make sure that I make it. We all better watch that one. And here's one with Delores Cannon. She talks about the splitting of the new earth and happening now in 2020, which makes it an older one. And I do believe that she was the originator of this. And then 3D to 5D shift, 16 signs you're going to the new earth. Better watch that one too. Timeline split. It has already begun. Ooh, wow. 2024 is going to be crazy. 2024 predictions. A new earth is coming. Prepare yourself. Another picture of Delores Cannon anyways. The earth will shift in 2024. So there you have it, my friends. It's pretty interesting as we look at all these different perspectives on it. As I mentioned, I believe Delores Cannon is where this new earth split originally came from. Others mention it. Eckhart Tolle. Also, I think the Law of One, Ra, and others have talked about it. And as I've asked, is this a physical actual split or shift, or is this like a dimensional shift? So what does it all mean? Well, we're going to find out here in a minute, or at least we're going to find out what I think it means and why. But what's most shocking is that some people actually believe that this is going to be a physical splitting of the earth into two earths. And one will be a new earth and the other one will be the old earth. And those with a lower vibration and consciousness, so to speak, will be stuck on the old earth. And those with a higher vibration or a higher consciousness, if you will go to the new earth. So, hey, I want to go to the new earth, don't you? So what could be more shocking than that? An actual physical splitting of the two earths. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that cause a lot of destruction? So, but what's more shocking than that is this is really actually happening. Bet you weren't ready for that, were you? But it's not happening in the way that you think. Okay? So let's talk about that for a minute. First, it's not happening overnight as a lot of people think. They think that we're going to come to this point and there's going to be this crazy shift and all of a sudden there's a splitting of the earth. Okay, but it's going to happen. It's been happening already for at least 10 years and probably more. That's number one. Number two is it is a shift in consciousness, and it's happening within you or within us, both individually and collectively. That's really how it's going to happen and how it's happening. And if you're aware, if you've been paying attention, there is a shift going on. And a lot of the things that are going on right now, the things that people see as negative and bad, are part of the shift. It's kind of the, sometimes you got to tear down the old to make way for the new, so to speak. So that's why there's a lot of chaos sometimes on this earth, and we see it as a negative, when it actually could be a positive. There's a scripture that says all things work for good. Okay? And that includes the so-called bad. You have to remember Our 3D reality is a reflection of who we are on the inside, both individually and collectively. So the good news is that we literally can transform the world and create a new earth, okay? But that's also why it doesn't happen overnight, because it happens one individual at a time until we reach critical mass, so to speak. That's when we will see these things reflected on a mass scale. That doesn't mean, though, as an individual, you can't see things change, your world change literally on an individual basis. And you see that as you change your thoughts and your beliefs. And as we collectively change our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions, because of that, we will see a shift in 3D reality. Now, there's this talk about 3D reality to 5D reality. And that's possible. That's one way to put it, I suppose. It's all about a rise in consciousness. A little bit about Delores Cannon. She was a hypnotherapist, and she did regressions where she would regress people back to their childhood or even to past lives, and also even in between lives in some cases. And she wrote, I don't know, a dozen books or so about it. And she developed a thing called QHHT now. QHHT stands for Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And the basic premise is that you get regress, you go into a deep hypnosis or meditative state through this technique, and it allows your higher self to come through and speak. And I've had a session, and it was really interesting. That's all I'll say about it now. I'll leave that for another video at some point, perhaps. But Dolores's books are fascinating reads, and it's very interesting, and it really shows the diversity of humanity. And do I believe everything that she has stated? No, of course not. I don't believe everything. I don't believe anybody 100%. I believe because of the human factor that we are all subject to, human error and biases and so on and so forth. But I think there's a lot of truth in some of the things and many of the things that she talked about and wrote about. And it corresponds with some of the ancient wisdom and other spiritual writers or teachers, if you will. So it's very interesting, definitely worth the read. So all of these videos on the shift and on the new earth and the split and so forth are clickbait. Getting people all worked up that some big event's coming that's going to happen. Kind of like the eclipse. And I admit my thumbnail and title were kind of clickbaity too, but it's exactly what I'm talking about and explaining what it really means. And there is going to be a shift, and there's going to be a new earth, and we're heading in that direction right now. And I shouldn't say there is going to be a shift. We are in the middle of a shift, and we have been. I say at least 10 years, but it's been going on since the dawn of human history, and we've shifted multiple times. As we rise in consciousness, so to speak, things shift. And when we reach a critical mass at some point, then we reach a shift, like from medieval times into modern times, where we moved away from the king vassal state, the nobles and the peasants and that kind of thing. We moved into a more equalization state. Not that it was perfect, and it's still not perfect, but that was a rise in consciousness. People didn't like being ruled by a king or one particular ruler. People wanted their own autonomy. But they are fun, though, and instead of getting worked up over them, people should look at them like that, in my opinion, instead of being all worked up. But I guess it depends on where you're at in your belief, consciousness, spiritual evolution, so to speak, right? So anyways, that is the true meaning of the shift to the new earth, so to speak. We need to go within. We need to shift our own consciousness. And then 3D will eventually comply with our inner self. So what you see now around you is your old thoughts and beliefs crystallized. or your current thoughts. If you're trying to change them, sometimes you got to ignore what you see around you and then move into a new level of consciousness and see that as your new reality. And eventually 3D will follow. You know, sometimes it happens quickly, sometimes it takes a while. Especially collectively, it takes a while. So what we see around us is the crystallization of the majority of people in the world. And so that's why we see a lot of chaos and a lot of troubles going on, because people are focused on that. They're focused on all the problems. They watch the news almost 24/7 and they stress over it. And what are we going to do? We got to fight this. We got to change it. We got to kick those bums out, and so on and so forth. And I used to do that just like everybody else. But where attention goes, energy flows, right? And so you keep your attention on that the majority of the time. That's creating your reality. And so the universe, so to speak, says, oh, this is what this person wants. So they give you, so you get more of it. So the way to change that is to change your thoughts and your focus. I call it the garden of the mind sometimes. It's like planting a garden. What happens if you don't plant anything in the garden? Just whatever grows willy-nilly, and mostly weeds and sticker bushes and stuff. So, but if you take control of that, plant what you want in there, then you'll grow things that you want to grow. And that takes some work, because we're used to just letting whatever enters our mind passively. You know, we grew up that way as children. We were getting programmed by our parents and adults around us, and society in general, and the culture, and so on. So that's the good news. So we are shifting to the new earth, and we can speed up that process, so to speak, by taking control of our minds, by taking control of our thoughts and our beliefs, and changing one individual at a time. And when we reach a critical mass, we will see a 3D or 5D change, if you will, in physical reality. That's how we do it, my friends. I'm trying to grow this channel, so if you like what you hear, please share it with others, and hit the like and subscribe buttons. That tells the algorithm that you want to see more, and they'll show it to more people. And also, if you hit the bell, then you won't miss anything that comes out. I'd appreciate your support if you like what you hear. And that doesn't mean you have to agree with me on everything. I don't require agreement. All right, peace out.